The Supreme Council of Sudan on the victims of the floods that hit the Republic. The e-census of population, housings and establishments 2020 starts in the Sultanate. And the Turkish president raises rhetoric in Greece standoff in East Mediterranean. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq sent cable of condolences to Lieutenant General Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, Chairman of the Supreme Council of the Republic of Sudan, on the victims of the floods that hit the Republic. Meanwhile, His Majesty the Sultan sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Jair Bolsonaro of the Federative Republic of Brazil on his country's National Day. E-census of population, housings and establishments 2020 started today in the Sultanate. The project includes a program to visit private sector establishments to complete the updating of date and follow up with their level of coverage, which include linking addresses of establishments with electricity account number in order to prove the geographical locations. The program emphasizes on the importance of knowing the geographical distribution of population, housings and establishments, while building plans and national strategies which serve the goals of the Future Vision Oman 2040. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan yesterday warned Greece to enter talks over disputed Eastern Mediterranean territorial claims or face the consequences. Ankara is currently facing off against Greece and Cyprus over oil and gas exploration rights in the Eastern Mediterranean. All sides have deployed naval and air forces to assert their competing claims in the region. Meanwhile, Turkish media reported that tanks were being moved towards the Greek border. 40 tanks were being transported from the Syrian border to Edirne in northwest Turkey. Erdogan's comments come after NATO said military officers from Greece and Turkey had begun technical discussions to reduce the risk of armed conflict or accidents. The two NATO allies have been locked for weeks in a tense standoff in the Eastern Mediterranean, where Turkey is prospecting the seabed for energy reserves in an area Greece claims as its own continental shelf. The novel coronavirus has killed at least 880,396 people since the outbreak emerged in China last December. At least 27 million cases of coronavirus have been registered. Of these, at least 17.7 million are now considered recovered. Yesterday, 5,171 new deaths and 268,142 new cases were recorded worldwide. The United States is the worst hit country with 188,540 deaths from 6.24 million cases. After the US, the hardest hit country are Brazil with 126,203 deaths, India with 70,626, Mexico with 67,326, and the United Kingdom with 41,549 deaths. Latin America and the Caribbean overall have 289,874 deaths, Europe 18,117, Asia 104,864, Middle East 37,929, and Africa 31,087 deaths. The second powerful typhoon to slam Japan in a week unleashed fierce winds and rain on southern island today, blowing off rooftops and leaving homes without power as it edged northward into an area vulnerable to flooding and mudslides. Weather officials warned that the rainfall from what could be a record storm would be fierce. Warnings were issued days to evacuate for people to be ready to take shelter and stock up on food and water. Officials said several rivers on the main southwestern island of Kyushu were at risk of overflowing. Evacuation warnings were issued for more than 50,000 people in Okinawa and Kyushu, including Kagoshima and Nagasaki prefectures. The Japan Meteorological Agency said Typhoon Haishen, which means sea god in Chinese, was packing sustained winds of up to 162 kilometers per hour after battering Okinawa and the southern Kyushu island of Amami Oshima early today. Alerts for strong winds, waves, high tides, rainfall, and lightning were issued for Amami Oshima alongside evacuation orders. The death toll from the gas explosion that tore through a Bangladesh's mosque has risen to 24 as rescuers described how survivors jumped into a nearby open sewer to escape the flames. Worshippers were at Friday evening prayers when the blast sent a ball of fire through the mosque in the central district of Narayanganj near the capital Dhaka. 8 more people, including the mosque's imam and muaddin, who led prayers, died overnight, taking the toll to 24. The conditions of 13 injured people were critical. Bodies of some of the injured were 70 to 80% burnt, and there were fears that the toll could climb higher. An official said it's tough to survive if anyone has more than 30% of his body burnt. Investigators suspected a spark from an air conditioner, which came on after a power cut started the blaze. Becky in the Salted, the Ministry of Health announced that the total number of cases of COVID-19 registered in the Salted are 87,072, including 728 deaths. The Ministry of Health stresses that the percentage of recovery has reached 94.6 with a total number of 82,406 cases. An environmental study conducted by technicians from the Environment Authority showed a decline at air pollutants in the Governorate of Muscat during COVID-19 pandemic. The study is meant for measuring change the quality of air and the impact of the decline at the housing activity and transport activities on the emission of air pollutants during COVID-19 epidemic at the area of Al-Khwair, Al-Mualih and Al-Wutayya at the Governorate of Muscat. The study showed a positive impact on the environment due to the lockdown of Muscat and commercial activities on it, which led to widespread decline at the traffic movement and transportation, which are considered the main causes of carbon emission and greenhouse gases. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Investment and Promotion, in cooperation with the bodies concerned, is discussing the policies of intellectual property to protect geographical indices and traditional knowledge, as well as to protect marine and animal products, as they are considered a wealth that contribute in the growth of the national economy. The ministry also seeks to raise awareness of the community about the geographical indices. A certain commodity is linked to a geographical region due to some characteristics and origins of the place. The Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones applied unified system for one station at the economic and free zones, affiliated it in Dukhum, Sohar, Solala and Al-Mazina. The unified system contributed in unifying work mechanism between the special economic zones and free zones, in addition to accelerate transactions provided for investors and companies. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham sends cable of condolences to the Chairman of the Supreme Council of Sudan on the victims of the floods that hit the republic. The e-census of population, housings and establishments 2020 starts in the Sultanates. And the Turkish president raises rhetoric in Greece standoff in East Mediterranean. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from Bulletin newsroom in the studios. Thanks for watching. Good night.
حتى مسميني عمرو.
ارفع بإيدك بالهواء ويرميه على الأرض.
صلاة النبي.
15
3000
15000.
أنا ما ينفعش أبقى مجرم. إيه؟ هحاول.
أنت الوحيد اللي كنت هكسر مع العهد ده، لأني حسيت للحظة إنك ممكن تكون حنين عليا وتعوضني عن كل اللي شفته.
بتعمل إيه؟
إن كانت هناك ضرورة مهمة لاستخدام وسائل النقل العام، اختر وسيلة نقل غير مزحومة، عقم يديك قبل وبعد صعود الباص، اترك مقعد بينك وبين الراكب الآخر.
كثرة ترددك على الأسواق والمجمعات التجارية تزيد من فرصة تعرضك للعدوى. إذا استدعت الحاجة لتواجدك في الأسواق والمجمعات التجارية فتجنب اصطحاب الأطفال.
فصيلة دمها نادرة وما موجودة عندنا. هاجر،
أنا ما أعرف من اللي تبرع لي بالدم، لكن أكيد هو طيب وأريد أعطيه هذه الوردة.